Sumo! One Sumo! Let's go!
We're improvising. This is how I work. This is how Marine do things. Like we were promised so many things, and then we don't get the things we were promised, and then we just work with what we have.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
It works.
And then I'll text you whenever it pops up, and I'll send you a link to your YouTube and your show. You just started a new thing, and then we'll work with Nikki to do my SEO, and then oh my God, we have so much revenue and stuff. And
There you go.
audience, expand my audience.
You can acknowledge me when you start making millions of dollars from the traffic that will drive to your website.
That'd be awesome,
Mm-hmm.
right? Miguel, have a seat.
Let's get you number one on Google.
All right, so I'm gonna try to figure this out. This is my first time doing a foursome. Yeah, 4 people in a podcast, and without video. A lot of people like the video of my podcast.
Pretty ugly, so
They like to talk to people.
Spare.
I'll try to take pictures of you guys somehow, one way or another. But welcome back to the catch-up with Bryan, Sumo, Sumardi, where I feed my curiosity by meeting some cool-ass people. Today's guest is Derrick and Nikki Shepard. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Owners of Reset Float Therapy. And I will have a co-host, Miguel Ortiz Garcia. I still don't know his actual name, government name, because he works for a 3-letter agency that I don't like to talk about, or he doesn't like talking about. But yeah, let's get into Nikki and Derrick. Were you guys both? You were both born in East LA? No, California.
No, she was born in California.
She was born in California.
In the corn state of Nebraska.
I see.
Yes.
I want you guys to just talk about your own thing. Since you guys started float therapy, like why, how?
How was I floated once, and changed my perspective on life. It made me see things differently. It made me, it gave me like the compass to improve my life, and I just wanted to keep doing it, and I just did it.
And then I showed up to a house party where I met him, and he was actually bitching about being at this party, which I thought was hilarious, because, like, to meet someone who's like, I don't want to be here. So why don't you want to be at this party? He's like, I just floated at this place down in Venice, and I just want to, like, hang out. So I made him tell me about his whole experience, and then it was the first thing we ever talked about was floating.
Sweet.
And then eventually, 5 months later or so, our first date, we went down to Venice Beach and went floating.
And it took 5 months. Did you so?
It took a few months. I definitely.
Well, it took a few months for us to start dating. We were friends first, and I kept floating, but yeah, her first float wasn't until 5 months after we met.
Who would have thought it was going to change my life completely? Because that one float that you talked about, I just really want to open up my own float center one day. And
Well, the reason I didn't want to be at that party because there was like a few strippers there.
That doesn't sound like a bad thing.
No, it wasn't a bad thing, but like just imagine coming out of like a tank.
Oh.
Like you went deep. I went super deep, and like all the shit happened inside there. Then I go to my buddy's house, and there's like this chick walking around naked in the bikini and like cocaine on her nipples.
Nice.
And I just, yeah, it was nice. But I mean, I was like, I don't think this is gonna really.
It's not going to further you in your life.
No. maybe tomorrow, but right now, I don't think it's going to help me right now.
That's how Quavy came out. I saw him, like, our other friend, the guy who went in right before me.
Yeah.
He came out, and he was just like, bro, I'm so relaxed.
Yeah.
You're going to have an awesome time.
Yeah, he was super relaxed.
And I was like, cool. All right, I'm going to go start it out. All right, bro. Like, you're just talking really slow.
everything slows down when you
She
flow.
gets super, like, when she has a good flow, I'll come to the shop and she'll just be like, can we walk slow? Could we go this way?
I want to feel the ground.
I'm very high energy a lot. Like, I run a lot of energy, but when I float, it slows my brain frequency. It slows my body down. When we're walking and he's walking at our normal pace, I'm like, why are we running? Like, whoa, like, let's take our time. And like I'm aware of every step and smell, and it just takes a little bit longer to process information.
For sure.
So
Are you processing it at the right time instead
Maybe.
of like trying to download it?
Being
super
hyperactive.
quickly?
Yeah.
It's like maybe we should be at dial-up speed.
Okay. Okay.
Maybe.
well, it also makes me realize, like, I try to do way too much all the time. Like, I'm trying to juggle so many freaking things, and then floating helps me just literally, like, stop and smell the fucking flowers. Just slow. Like, it doesn't always have to be the next thing, like, 5 steps ahead. Just
knock it off one step at a time.
Yeah.
It's like, don't look ahead, don't look behind, just look what's right there.
Be in the moment. Like,
Yeah.
I think you were talking to me about flow state with, what's the author you telling me about?
Becoming Superman, I think, I forget what the book's called.
Alan Watts? Was that?
No, Alan
was it
Watts
Derrick
was.
saying?
Yeah,
Other
that
Derrick.
one was called the. What's it called? Be More or something? Becoming More. But yeah, it's very similar, but it's just people chase the flow state. We don't realize it. Like sports, like football players chase it, basketball players chase it. It's just.
Being instinctual.
Yeah, even like when you exercise, like, or you run, you're in the moment. You're not thinking about like what happened yesterday or what could happen tomorrow. It's just like, I'm just gonna lift this weight over my head or push it up above me. It's not like you don't think about anything but what it is in that moment.
Right.
And we get caught up in so much shit because just a lot of it's too much stuff going on.
There's a lot of garbage out there. Social media, and we're aware of every tick and being in vibration. I hear someone else's phone vibrates and I reach for my own.
Yeah.
Like, it's so instinctual.
Oh, is that for me?
Yeah, is that me? And you just, every tick or, you're so in tune to all of these sounds. And it fucking sucks.
I heard this from a comedian one day. Like, if you ever walk through a hall, like a hotel hallway, and then you just hear like sex, and then you're like, oh, yes.
Yeah.
You call?
True.
Am I? You need me?
Yeah. We have thin walls here, and like sometimes here and there, we're like, oh shit, that sounds good.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah, it's just like, or you see someone drinking, like, oh.
It influences. We're we're easily influenced by shit.
Yeah, we all do things that can be a bit.
Okay, with that being said, can we go bring it back? So, saying that you were from Nebraska, did you always feel that you were kind of like in the moment type of guy?
Oh no, definitely. It's still a struggle for me. I was always in my head. What's that movie with Ben Stiller?
Which one?
It's where he's The Adventures of Walter.
Oh, the Great Life of Walter Mitty.
Yeah, I feel like I'm that guy sometimes, where I'm just like, someone be talking to me, and I'm just like in my head, like I'm out somewhere, like climbing a glacier mountain or some shit, and then like, oh, I'm supposed to be back here. I felt like I was that guy for a long time, and then I found meditation, and it was still a struggle for me. And then when I floated for the first time, it was the first time I walked out and everything was just in front of my face, and there was nothing behind me or ahead of me.
Yeah.
So we were just right there. Like, I walked out in Venice Beach, and Venice Beach is just chaotic. It's a bunch of stuff going on. And I just heard the sights, or heard the sounds, and seen the sights, and everything was there in the moment. And I just didn't look back or didn't look forward, just what was right in front of me. And just floating helped me see what the moment was. Even though I don't get it all the time. Sometimes I'm still in my head, but I recognize where I need to be. And that's what floating helps me, tells me what I should do, where I need to go.
How'd you get from Nebraska to Venice?
Oh, I left. My parents left when I was young, so I grew up in California, but my parents grew up in Nebraska, so they left when I was 4, and we grew up in Chino Hills, which is just a cow town, but now people think it's like cool because the Ball Brothers from there. And there's
the who?
The Ball Brothers, like and whatever those guys.
Put Chino Hills on the map.
Yeah. But to me, it was just like a cow town. There was cows in the back of my elementary school, and like all my friends were the same friends I had since junior high, since kindergarten till now. Like those are all my homies. Like they're still the same. But now you go back to Chino Hills, it's just different because got reality shows and shit.
I see.
It's like right on the borderline of Orange County and LA, so it's a very well
Orange County people don't
situated
like you,
town.
and LA people don't like you because you're from the Inland Empire, whatever that means.
I've only seen the show, like the OC.
Yeah.
When they
I
talk
don't
about
know.
Chino
In that show,
and the
they
Chino
do.
prison's just down the street, so
It's weird.
That's like for us. It's like 7 Locks for us.
7 Locks.
Yeah. Remember 7 Locks, Miguel?
No.
7 Locks is like right there in Potomac. Like Potomac's like the rich area, but then they have a jail there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
But 7 Locks is a little further down. It's more like
It's not really. It's like on exit 4, 270.
that whole area. And I feel they kind of park that area too because it's out there away from like where Clyde's is at.
Yeah.
So all the restaurants are pushed down a little further.
Right.
And then they push that down in its own little area.
Like Potomac is like the rich area of Maryland.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fancy houses, land.
Yeah, Chino Hills is like, there's certain areas that are rich, but it wasn't always like that. It was just, unincorporated. We had one grocery store, and like McDonald's was like, the next city
Small.
over. It was super small, yeah.
So you guys didn't have a McDonald's in your
We
city?
didn't have a McDonald's until, I think I was in junior high. It was the first McDonald's. I went to kindergarten in Chino Hills, so junior high there was a McDonald's in our city. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so, but now it's like huge. There's like a mall there. Every time I go back,
it's big.
right, it's super big. It's kind of like they brought the Orange County to the Inland Empire because the Inland Empire was just like in the desert not in the desert.
A lot of dairy farms,
Dairy farms
and
and
it
stuff.
was just a lot of nothing.
Yeah.
There was nothing out there, but now,
It's a little different.
well, everyone's trying to get out of LA, so it's all spewing into the suburbs outside of LA before that people thought were shitty, but now we're becoming very desirable because
Well,
it's so it's just so close
earthquakes.
to everything. We're right there on the San Andreas Fault too, so
I've only played video games. And I don't play video games that often, and that's all I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of earthquakes, maybe.
Earthquakes. That's all I hear. And then the fires that I heard.
There's a lot of fires out there, yeah.
Yeah,
Me and my buddies caused one fire, maybe.
Yeah. I know I've caused my share with mortars in Camp Pendleton back in my military days. We just shoot randomly, then it got really hot, then it comes forest fire.
Oh, yeah.
Here and there. I mean, but I think that's normal. But maybe that's not normal.
Santa Ana wins.
Okay.
Just blame that.
Nikki, what about you? Where'd you grow up?
I grew up right by Chino. I grew up in a town called Ontario. It was also a dairy.
I've been to Ontario. I fly in Ontario
There
like
you go.
every
Yeah,
year
international
for annual
airport.
training.
And that was, it was a big deal when that airport came into Ontario too. Like, why the fuck are they going to put it here? But now it's a hub.
Okay.
But, so I grew up there, and I lived in the Inland Empire my whole life until moving to San Diego.
Oh, so you went from Ontario to San Diego?
So the Inland Empire, it's like a sprawling area outside of LA, and it's a bunch of different towns: Riverside, Pomona, Chino.
It's a huge county.
It's a huge county, and I
Okay.
lived everywhere. Like I moved around. I lived in Fontana, Riverside, San Dimas, Laverne, Upland, Rancho, Tulum. Like you name it, I traveled around a lot.
And that was because you wanted to, or
No,
like
I was a kid, so
Yeah.
just.
rolled with it with your
family
family?
couldn't figure it out, so we just kept popping around until I was 18, and I just figured
Then you
out.
moved out.
Sort of. I dated someone I wasn't supposed to,
Oh.
so, and I pretty much lived there from the time I was 18.
Can't date
Okay.
a Mormon. I'm joking. I love Mormons.
No, I needed stability. I needed stability in my life. So I
see.
dated someone who had a stable situation.
Okay.
He was just a lot older than me. I was a little too young. But,
Stability. I feel like when you're young, you kind of want that because you're kind of like all over the place.
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I guess when like thinking of that, like, how do you guys feel about like curiosity? Like, do you guys feel like you're very curious into the various world,
I
or you
think
kind of
we
live in the
are.
moment?
I think people who like to travel are curious.
Uh-huh.
And,
Yes.
people who, like, want to be sedentary and, like, stay in the same place, that's cool if you want to stay where you grew up, but if you don't even want to, like, travel anywhere, like,
Yeah.
I think you're just not going to be curious. But when you go places and you seek things out, like you meet different cultures, or even like United States, you go to California from where you guys are from,
Yeah,
you're gonna meet some different people.
for sure.
Even though they might be very similar, but it's different than the East Coast.
Yeah,
But I think traveling I think it's good because it makes you curious and you get a different perspective, and it kind of helps you in your journey.
for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely changes you.
Definitely.
Traveling has changed me at like the cellular level of like how I experience the world, how I live my life is very much based on my travels. We may not have a lot materially, but I find myself very wealthy with experience, and we've been to so many countries, and I've been traveling before I met you. I've been all over the world, and I never want to stop.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
What's your favorite place, or like what's your most changing, like mind-changing place that you've been to that kind of like set your mind differently? Both.
I don't think it was one particular event, but for me, the thing that definitely changed my mind was just meeting just certain individuals while I was traveling and realizing how people are just very similar to you and like inviting, like like you just come to people's house and let you stay there, and you become friends with these same people. You didn't think you'd meet someone from in Southeast Asia that are Dutch, and then you meet them, you go back to Holland 3 months later, and they're like, "Oh, have my apartment we know what it's like to travel. You stay there."
Right.
Like, I'm going to stay with my
Make
mom.
yourself at home.
Yeah,
do
it's
laundry.
like, really? Like-
Make a dinner. Just make yourselves at home, and it's
And those are like they became lifelong friends to us.
and they've come and met us in California, and
No, I'm good.
I got beans.
All right, Miguel will walk away from this.
Yeah,
Scenery,
man,
man.
you're taking off, and that's
I got a
scenery.
question for you guys before, because I got to throw one question.
Yeah,
All right.
sure.
So, the vibes that we feel here are obviously a lot different, a lot more peace, welcoming, tranquil compared to the East Coast.
Yeah.
East Coast is a little more rough.
Yeah.
They think about the
when
future. That's what I
when-
think.
When you come out of a float and you have that nice elevated feel, do you think it's a little different with the atmospherics over here on the West Coast compared to the East Coast?
Maybe. I haven't floated on the East Coast, so I don't know. But I think when you go so deep, like within yourself, so things can disturb you. It depends. Like if you're coming out of a float in New York City and it can be a shit show, maybe how long is that going to last? Maybe someone's going to piss you off. But I think it should work each time. I believe in it. You shouldn't be mad. I think that your aggression should slow down, definitely. Maybe some of it's going to come back up, but...
Floating is also a really just great way to check your ego.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, regardless how big or little it is, like, you just come out feeling very differently about yourself. Like, why do I have these thoughts? Why do I have these like... And you're not being influenced by anything. So these thoughts that are coming out naturally, and then you can be like, "Damn, that's dark."
Yeah.
Like, why did that just come up out of nowhere? And it's like, well, maybe I need to work on that a little bit.
I will try over there and I'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be interested in, but yeah.
Let us know with a follow up
I'm not
to your
going to
answer.
next time, because next time I have to do it.
Yeah, man, we got
I
you.
wasn't expecting to do some things, but next time I will do it. Yeah, thank you.
It was
I'll
nice
bring them
meeting you,
back
dude.
for next year.
Yeah,
For sure.
Man, we can definitely be in touch.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess when Miguel threw out that question, I wanted him to stay for more. But I'm pretty sure that's his biggest question. I guess it's like the cookie cutter question. Like, what are the benefits of floating? What do you guys think?
I feel like the answer is what
What did you
isn't
say?
the benefit.
Yeah, I think it's
Oh.
what you want to get from it, though.
Yeah.
I think the benefits. Some people come in specifically just for maybe body elements, like maybe they have a extremely back pain and they can't release the tension, and they get no gravity in there, and they get relief from their body.
Yeah, I was talking to you about that. I was just not gonna cut you off, but like I have scoliosis, and I have like a lot of tension in my mid back, and then I fell asleep when I was floating. But when I got out, I felt like at ease. I think even still to this day, and it's been a day. But normally when I do like chiropractic work, I feel it almost like maybe I'll exaggerate. Maybe it's like an hour or two after I do chiropractic work. I feel it coming back to me, that tension. But still, like even to this hour right now, and it's only been a day, I feel relax.
Because you're absorbing all of that sulfate magnesium. So a lot of our bodies almost everyone is deficient in it. And so it helps with inflammation and soreness and all of that. And just soaking in 1,000 pounds, you're just laying in it for 90 minutes. You're absorbing it the whole time. It's going to do amazing things for your back, for your neck, for your joints, and for your muscles, like just whole body work.
Can you get more deeper than that? So sulfate magnesium?
Sulfate magnesium. So it's the technical term for Epsom salts.
Okay.
So it's not sea salt or like cooking salt, but it's a mineral that's found in the earth that's really good for all kinds of stuff, but mainly like when you sprain your ankle and, they're like, oh, soak it in some Epsom salt. So you get some Epsom salt and then you soak it in the tub for a little bit. But usually when you're done, you have to drain it. Like you can't like pull the salt back out because it's all dissolved. Right. So and the science with the tank is you have all of that salt, but then we recycle and filter it and it gets thrown back in the tank. And so we don't, we're not losing 1,000 pounds of salt for every appointment. Plus who has access to 1,000 pounds of salt to just soak in. So
and that's the main reason why we're floating. It's like effortless.
Yeah. It's not only makes you weightless, but then you get the physical properties from just absorbing it for 90 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, another thing, I guess, for me and Miguel, since we're both Marines, we have swim qualifications, and he and I both have issues with the portion of treading water for 5 minutes.
She's a swimmer.
So, like, no matter what we do, we've listened to, like, all, like, the classes. We've done everything like that.
Egg beater.
Yeah, water polo.
I was going to say, so who's teaching you to do this? Are you getting instruction from someone who's just proficient in the water? Like, what you really need is talk to a water polo coach. Because you just... As a water polo, I played water polo for over 10 years. Okay. You just tread for hours and hours and hours and hours, and then you never get tired from it because it's just so ingrained. It's like
instinctive.
It's so instinctual. So you just gotta learn the basic fundamentals of like a proper egg beater when you turn out your ankles, and then that's it.
Okay, no, honestly, it was like my last year, so it took me about 5 years to really get into it. But then I have to use my hands at that.
Just your skull on the side.
The skull, there you go. Yeah, that's what really helped me. I was like, because always.
Oh, are they making you like, all right, hands out and like egg beater up?
Well, that's like our advanced courses. So there's some advanced courses like this is like our basic training. So we're like we're just struggling on basic. But that was like so hard for us because everything was easy for us, like a 50 foot dive, just swimming like 100 meters, taking our gear off underwater, and using a flotation device to do 100 meters without actually just swimming.
Yeah.
But like the treading water was our biggest horror.
A lot of people aren't very as like comfortable in the water, like to just
Miguel especially, he just freaks out. That was his thing.
I've always been drawn to water. If it was an ocean, a river, a pond, I used to dig holes and fill it with dirt as a kid and just sit in it. Like I've always been attracted to water.
For your whole body?
No, if there's a body of water in it, I just wanted to be in it. When I was 2 years old, my family they were terrified that I was just going to drown because I would go, I'm like, oh, sweet. And I would just dive right in. Yeah. And they're like, oh, crap. So it was natural that I was drawn to swimming and water polo and not ironic at all that I'm also into float therapy and swimming in water, treading in water, floating in water. Sweet. It's anything water property. I don't know. It speaks
very
to me.
Attractive to you.
It just speaks to me somehow.
Yeah, no. The reason why I brought that up is because, like, for me, when I first thought about it, I was like subconsciously worried, even though I kind of like brought up my fear of like treading water. Mm-hmm. I really didn't think that I could float because, like, as a lean person, it's like I'm just gonna sit. I feel like my natural buoyancy is like up to my like eye level.
Yeah.
So that there's no way I could like float. But then my experience of just being in the float tank, like, it's not high at all. What do you think? It's like 2 feet tall?
It's a foot.
It's 12 inches.
Yeah.
12 inches.
That's it.
Yeah, so I got in. Okay, my feet are in. So I thought I was literally going to, like, walk on water type of feel. And I initially thought, too. It's like, oh, this is awesome. But then as soon as I laid on my back, bless you. And I was floating.
Yeah. A lot of people are very pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
They're like, there's no way. Like, I'm like, yes, just Let
She
go.
knows I can't float. I mean, she taught me how to float like in the ocean, but not.
You sink like a rock.
You sink.
Like I'm like, all right, all right, just relax, and I got you. And then the second he just sinks, and
Yeah.
you
I
got better, but
I'm so shitty.
anybody can float. You can put a 400-pound weight on top of you, and you're still gonna float.
I know how to float face down, but I feel like that doesn't help.
No.
Yeah.
Not in the tank.
Because when I float face down, like my face is underwater, but then like from my waist up, I'm good. Like I'm golden.
Yeah.
Like it'll just stay above water for some reason. But as soon as I like go on my backside,
You just panic. It's definitely like a mental.
it's like
Yeah.
it's my legs. My legs come down. I'm like, oh.
It's a matter of you need to keep your hips up, and so like finding ways to
Keep
skull,
it
and then the more you relaxed, and then as you get more proficient, then like the sculling becomes a little less, and because you can almost do like one wick for a skull, and then it can sustain for a while. I mean, coaching swimming, that's one big powerful pull, and it can take you halfway across the pool,
Interesting.
as opposed to like 20 short little ones.
Yeah, I think that's the point. Like once I'm like I get my rhythm,
Mhm.
but then like eventually I will get like fatigued, so I'll try to go faster.
And it's
And then
counterproductive. It's
right.
if anything, like you start almost going backwards because
Right.
it's like the short, fast ones, and your body just
It's like
tends to go back. Yeah,
Then I start getting like water in my face. And I'm splashing now, and
yeah,
I'm like, I'm getting scared. And then chlorine and whatnot. That's pools.
yeah.
Yeah.
I carried that chlorine smell for very long. Even after college, I was still like, "Oh, you smell like chlorine." Like, I know. It's just like in my body. It took a while.
So with Nikki too. So what did you do prior to float with Derrick? Like working for Reset. Work-wise.
I'm a credentialed history teacher.
Okay.
But I got my credential at a time when they were pink slipping everyone, so like teachers were getting laid off everywhere. So I've actually been a substitute for 6 years.
Oh.
But substitute teaching's awesome because no one gives a shit. The
Okay.
kids or the teachers, so it's more or less just like a glorified babysitting job, and that allowed me to do the research I needed to help us start Reset. So
I see.
essentially, Reset was born from a laptop in a 9th grade math class
Oh.
because I
definitely.
had 7 hours of he's working hands on with kids, and I'm more or less like, all right, here's a movie. I'm not going to watch this 6 hours in a row.
So you guys were both teachers?
Well, I work with. I used to do like I was a one-on-one aide for kids with special needs. So
At the same school, basically?
no, I was working at a special needs school. She was working with the regular population.
Ah.
But like for me, like I can't do researching because my kid might run into the street or hit me in the face.
Oh. Yeah, I see that.
But it's nice. Those kids were awesome. So I learned a lot from those kids.
Okay.
Yeah, you just learn. They're just you just don't take shit for granted.
So I guess for you kind of learned like patience. Patience was a very good virtue for you.
Yeah, kids used to be, kids can be very overwhelming sometimes. But
Yeah.
like when I work with those kids, it just you learn a lot of patience. You have to wait a lot of things out, and you just deal with things a little bit differently. And they see the world differently, and they make you see the world through them sometimes too. And
Yeah.
it's a nice perspective to see as well.
Ah.
Because then, sometimes you might be bugging out about some shit, and to them it's nothing, or they might be bugging out about something, and to you it's nothing, and then you kind of find the balance in between.
I see.
Yeah. It was
Okay.
nice. And I love that population. It was one of the funnest thing I did before I found floating, for sure.
Yeah, you hate the job you had before
Yeah,
that.
I hated it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you're so miserable.
Yeah,
So
it was just
miserable.
working an office job is just
Oh.
horrible, and like dealing with office politics and commuting to work.
Yeah.
Growing up in Chino Hills, I would commute to LA or Orange County for a long time, and just sitting in traffic and dealing with the stress of going to work and making money, and then you just sit for an hour and a half on the way home and just think about a lot of things,
I see.
and you just get kind of balled up. And floating helped me realize what I want to do and realize I didn't really care about money.
Do you think that like teaching is like just very fulfilling, and that fulfillment is what you guys were like in search for?
Yes. You know what? And I was always in search for fulfillment, and I stumbled into this teaching job just from a buddy that I knew because I used to I would train him, training him, and we moved to San Diego after we traveled, and I saw him. We were looking for a place where we live now, and I saw him coming out of this school, and I was like, "Hey, where do you work at?" Texting him, and he's like, "Oh, this school." I was like, "Are they hiring?" I was like, "I don't know what it was, Seems fun." And I went there like 3 days later after we got a place, and I got hired like in 30 minutes.
Nice.
And I didn't know what it was, but they were just like, they're kind of a school where like if anyone can take what happens there, you'll be all right. Because they're like, you might get punched by a kid.
Yeah.
But the idea is like we're gonna get punched to make the kid know that he's gonna complete the task. And I like that mentality.
And complete the task as in like him.
Like they get IEP goals, so like they go to the school from the district, and they're trying to replace some behaviors or get rid of a lot of behaviors. Okay. So like you want them to complete a task, like we're gonna go grocery shopping, we're gonna get X, Y, and Z, and maybe the kid doesn't want to go there.
Yeah.
And sometimes you gotta drag him there, and he's gonna punch you in the face, but you're like you gotta take the punch, and then next time he's gonna know you took it, and you're gonna get him in the store. Okay. So that's the way you would do it. I mean, you get hurt a little bit sometimes, but the kid would respect you. I kind of like that. You got to learn the hard way. Okay. And but kids would if you rode with them, because a lot of kids, these were like young adults I work with. Yeah. Like 17, 18, 19, and when they would see you hang around after they would do something, you were like, okay. Yeah. I respect you more. Like okay, now I'm going to do it. So I like that about. Some of the kids were like, they're just like me. They're stubborn. You know? Even though they can't communicate verbally, physically they push you out of the way, like, get out of my way. And I'm like, you know what? You're just a bully. One kid I worked with, you're just a bully. Yeah. And I was like, you know what? When I was 17, I was a bully too. And me and him, we had a good relationship because I understood what he was about. Yeah. I was like, you know what? You don't want to do things. I didn't like doing things either, but I just respected him. And sometimes I let him get away with it. And sometimes I wouldn't, but he would know the expectation. Some days I would just let them know right away, like, you're not going to do that today. We got things to do today, and you're going to do it. And other days he just like, it's okay. You did a lot this week, and it's hard for those kids because they go through therapy a lot, and they're getting told that everything they do is wrong. Yeah. And it's like, that's just the way they want to be. Right. And sometimes you just got to let them be the way they are. And sometimes you got to like, you can't do that. It's not appropriate. But
I guess that falls in, not to cut you off again. Like, no, it's a question that I have in my head on how rules are. Like, do you think rules are meant as like an end all be all? Like, rules were set to be followed, or kind of like as a guideline?
Rules are, I don't know. Like, I had a problem with authority. That's why I always. I'm on the same page with you on that. She always says that to me. Like, sometimes people always tell me to do something, and I always be like, no. My dad would always tell me that too, growing up. He's like, you just don't listen. Yeah. You're hard-headed and you're stubborn, and I can be, but maybe just because people tell me you can't do something and you want to do it, and just like, oh no, I could do that way. Yeah. I don't know. I try not to be stubborn, but it's still hard.
We talked about like Zodiac too. Like I always thought I was just stubborn because of I'm a Taurus. Yeah. But then I was like, maybe that's just me.
It's just you.
Yeah.
No, you were born on this day, on this month, you will be like this. Right. Like, I don't give a lot of credence to that kind of stuff. Yeah. No, because I'm told, like, as a Virgo, you will be this, and I'm like, I'm not like that at all. So, I think it just depends. But you're your own person. You make your own choices.
Right. But then at the same time, I still believe that there's some similarities. Yeah. But maybe because I choose to believe it.
Yeah, maybe.
I think some of that stuff is true, though. Like, I read about some of it. That's me. Like, how do they know that was me? Right. Like, how did I don't know.
So, like, Nikki, for nothing, like, Virgo for you is, like, spot on. You couldn't say that.
There's always something that you can find that's spot on. Like, are you outgoing and adventurous? And it's like, yeah, that's totally me. Like, nailed it. Like, who isn't,
I'm not. I mean, yeah.
Some people.
Some people are not.
Well, I dated someone with the exact same birthday. So we were the same sign. We had a lot of similarities, but we were also very, very different in a lot of ways, too. Okay. So that's why I was like, oh, please don't let me turn into that, or if that's my path that I'm supposed to.
But then you kind of like understood each other though. Yes? No?
They didn't communicate very well.
We didn't communicate very well.
Very,
at
yeah.
all. We were
But
both
because they're both the
unconfrontational.
same though, because they're both unconfrontational. Maybe because I don't know if it's my sign, I'm Aquarius. Like for me, like I'm like
You're understanding.
Well, to
Water.
me, I'm like you're gonna get out. You ain't going to bed.
Oh yeah.
Like to
no.
me, it's like we're gonna figure this out. Like I don't like to me, I don't like going. I don't go to sleep with unsolved problems. Like our issue, like we're gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
If I'm wrong, you tell me I'm wrong, and I'm okay with that.
Right.
We're gonna like find the answer.
Yeah.
Like, I'll wake her up like, no, what's up? What I do? Like, she'll be like, you're okay. I'm fine. I'm like, no, we're not going to bed until we resolve this because I can't. I don't like. I'm not like. What is it? The word? I'm not aggressive, but I want a conclusion.
Okay.
I can't.
Just like determined to find an
I'm
answer.
determined to find an answer. I'm not gonna start an argument, but I'm not gonna have an argument be unfinished.
Our arguments too are very short.
Mostly about food.
It's
Where we wanna eat
usually
at.
resolved with food
Yes.
pretty quickly.
It starts with food and ends with food.
That's
That's
like, where do
awesome.
you want to eat at? Like, where do you want to eat at? I don't want to eat there. Why are you cooking that? I don't want to eat that.
I miss. Our lives are very simple. I mean, we work a lot. We both work 7 days a week, so there's not a whole lot we can argue about.
Right.
Yeah,
Where are you going?
And
What are
you
you
guys
doing?
work together.
We know, yeah. And I also do my own thing too. So I'm.
But we're used to
always
being
working
with
on
each
that.
other like 7 days. When we travel, we were with each other. We went like 7. I think it was like 5 months without not being with each other every day. Like the only time I wasn't with her when I was working out, I did Muay Thai in Thailand, and that would be our break for an hour and a half. And so like you really get to know someone when you're with them that.
And I just went to
Yeah.
the coffee shop at the corner.
Yeah.
And did work at the coffee shop while he worked out, and then I would go pick him up afterwards and we get on the motorbike and then go back to the house.
Yeah.
That was,
So,
but we
like-
were together 24 hours a day.
But you know a
7
person
days a
then, you
week.
know when they're like angry and they're not saying anything, something's off, Like,
Yeah.
And me, like, I want the answer, so I'm gonna, like, I probably shouldn't, maybe I don't do as much, hopefully. But, like, I kind of, maybe I pick a little bit, like, hey, what's going on here? I'm fine, I'm okay. Like, no, you're not fine. What's going on?
Women pulling their typical, I'm fine.
Maybe, not all of them,
That brings up a story for me. Like, I have another best friend of mine. His name is John. We both have the same birthday, April 23rd. And he's also very big in the zodiac signs, but I'm not. Whenever we communicate to each other, we can speak the same message. That whenever we try to like express ourselves to like another friend in terms of an argument or like a situation, but we have two opposite ways of doing it. Like he's very into like the flow state. He talks about very like martial arts, Zen type of things. And I'm just very blunt. Like no, it's literally like this, and this. Like very chronological type of thing. And I think with the April 23rd as a birth date, he always tells me that we're like on the cusp of Aries, which is like a full fire sign. And then for us as Taurus is we're an earth sign. So as an earth sign, we're very grounded and we like our situation. Or we really like to be very stable, I guess.
Okay.
But on the other hand, since we're close to the Aries sign, which is the fire sign, we're very, usually it's between April to June that we're just very aggressive and we're kind of just act on emotions.
Wow.
Is that true for you?
That is true for both of us,
Yeah.
although we
Wow.
have the two different way of thinking.
Yeah.
He's also 2 years older than me.
Okay.
So that's what I found interesting, the way he explained that. And it's, ever since he told me that, maybe like 3 years ago, I found it's almost like sequential.
Wow.
Every
that's crazy.
April
That's
through
interesting.
June, that we're just like, all right, it's time to go act on our emotions, and we kind of just go ham on our whatever we see and like interests us.
Damn, we gotta find
What's
another
what's an
Aquarius.
example
What do you mean?
of like something that you just went after and were aggressive about?
It's usually about women.
Okay.
All right.
So it's on that. Because we always have like throughout the entire winter time, we're kind of just really lax. We kind of just like want to keep our jobs and just do little.
Just live.
Yeah, just live. Just, we're okay. We're good. We're just hanging out. And then once like end of March comes, April starts rolling up. It gets a little bit warmer, especially on the East Coast. That's when the time like spring hits.
Mhm.
So I was like, oh,
fucking season.
it's warm outside. And then we just see like, I
Baby
want
making
that. We like acquire targets in our heads.
Because you've been dormant for so long.
And
it's
sometimes
like
I think of it like
springtime.
that.
Well, I mean, when do all of the babies become born? It's all springtime, so everyone's getting out of their winter time.
No, that
April
means
babies.
April.
No.
Well,
That's not when they're born.
They're born in
no,
9
well,
months.
animals don't have 9 months of gestation.
Yeah.
It's a few weeks.
She's she doesn't Google check though still.
I don't. I just
She's living in
I
the 80s.
spout out a bunch of bullshit, and then he believes it.
But I'm down with that though.
Yeah, that's
I
cool.
think some arguments.
I
don't
like
need
passionate
Google check.
people.
Yeah.
People who believe in what they say.
But there's
I have a buddy who says he guarantees it. I have a buddy who wrote up, I guarantee it. And then Google came out. I remember the first time he guaranteed something, he said Shaq weighed a certain amount of weight. And this is the first time.
Shaq weighs 500 pounds.
Yeah,
Nah, it's bullshit.
We Googled it and we're like, you are wrong, motherfucker. Like, it was so
I
way
seen
off.
it. It's on Wikipedia.
And he still guarantees it. He's still doing it 20 years later.
What does he guarantee that he squatted in high school?
Oh, God, I don't even want to go there.
He guarantees he squatted.
Well,
in
it's not that much weight, but it's just like, no, you didn't do it.
Yeah.
But you know, everyone has. I mean, I don't know,
have
and not
to.
everyone, but people have the Al Bundy story. I scored 4 touchdowns in 3 games in one game. Maybe, but maybe it's just our memory, and the way we remember it maybe is more sexy than it really was.
Yeah.
That's what I think. I mean, do you really remember things, or you just remember telling the story?
It's true. Do you ever get that feeling when you're in the float tank too?
I have a really bad memory. Like mine is. Like, I have a pretty good short-term memory, but long-term is really horrible for me. I don't know what happened. So, I don't remember shit. So, in the float tank, I've had people float, and they remember stuff that happened in their childhood. Like, I've had one of our floaters, she grew up in, where our float tank is, and she had a memory. Her parents had a car, and I guess back in the day, they didn't have, like, really safe locks, and she was in the car, and the door opened, and she fell out, like, going down the hill.
Oh, shit.
And she remembered, because she was in there, and she felt her hips having pain. She's like, I don't know where this came from.
Yeah.
And she relaxed. She's like, I remember our door never shut properly, and I fell out. And she was like 5 when that happened. Now she's like probably in her 50s. She's like,
wow.
I never knew that. But
Yeah.
I remember she had the vivid memory. I was like, that's awesome. But me, no. I don't have
I've had a very, very vivid memory. It like freaked, like it like pulled me out of my flow, and it like kind of not rattled me, but it was very emotional. I just had this image that I was sitting in my childhood living room, and my mom was in the doorway, and like clear as day, she was just like talking, and it was about nothing, and I was sitting on the floor like looking up, and I saw like as I was a child, so like she was a lot bigger,
Yeah.
and her voice, like the color and the texture of her hair to her shirt, like her face. And my mom has been passed away for over 10 years, and so to remember and like to see my mom when she was like 30 kind of thing. Like I was a little kid, and it was like in our living room in Ontario, and it was so it felt so real. Like I was watching like a film, like I watched a video on a phone, and it was like, oh, remember the time? And what was this, like 1994 or whatever?
Okay.
And it was intense.
Yeah.
And I've never had another experience like that, but it was really freaking cool to just have to tap into that memory. It was a nothing memory. There was no significance of it. It was just an everyday kind of thing. But
was this like on your first couple experiences, or is this like it took you time to develop these kind of like more vivid imagery thoughts?
It was, yeah. I mean, it was a while. I mean, it wasn't in my first few experiences.
Well, some people are different though. Some people can tap into stuff some people tap into stuff pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I think it just depends on where you're at. Like people always ask, like one of the common questions, like, "What's going to happen?" And I'm like, "You tell me."
Yeah.
Like, what are you going to do there? Like some people can tap into pretty quickly, and it's pretty impressive. I'm kind of jealous, Like,
yeah.
Some people have psychedelic experiences the first time. And like for me, it took me a long time to see things in there and to have like, to let go of things and have a really deep meditative practice. But the first float, you realize like you can get there, but maybe it's going to take you a while. But I think it's different for everyone.
It is. But the more you float, the
easier it becomes.
the
Especially
easier it becomes. But you have to be open to it, and you can't explain to someone like, well, what do I do? Like, just be open. Like,
Right.
just be open to this experience. Don't have expectations. Don't go in like, all right, I'm ready to hallucinate and see things and just have this trippy psychedelic experience. Like, well, now you can guarantee that will absolutely not happen
Right.
because you're thinking about it. Like, you just have to but saying it and explaining it to people, like, just don't do anything. Don't think. And like, so much easier said than done. But when you do get to that point and you do let go,
it's all about letting go.
Anything can happen. Like, it's whatever you need it to be will be, kind of thing. So memories or creativity or coming up with ideas or just having really intense experiences that you can't describe.
Okay.
There's people that have walked out. They're like, I have to go write. Like, I just need to write and get all of this information out of me.
Right.
And they're like, I gotta go bye. I'm like, oh yeah. All right, like, see you later. Like, just don't even worry. People, lady who, like, I need to, like, she was having, like, a hard time. Like, was your flow okay? She's like, it was good. I really need to process what just happened. And, like, she had to sit down on our bench. And she sat there for, like, 45 minutes. Just, like, she didn't know what happened. And she was just...
She was trying to figure it out.
She was just trying to process
put it into
that 90-minute experience. And then I had to go grab something. I wanted to hear about it. And then she was gone. And so I was really curious to hear if she was willing to share with me, like, so what happened?
Right.
But, yeah. That was it.
I saw a lot of things. I recently, maybe like a month or two ago, I did cryotherapy. And the biggest question, as one of my viewers asked me, is like, is it like a scam? Like, I have to do it like 50 times before I feel anything. But then it's like what you guys said. It's like, if you're open to it, some people get it instantly. Yeah. Some people take time to do it.
Yeah, I've seen, like, with floating, like, I've seen people, like, a couple, and, this couple came in, and the girlfriend didn't have no idea what it was.
Uh-huh.
She just comes in after working out. She's like, I know what this was. My boyfriend bought it for me. And I'm like, okay, good. I tell her what it is. And she's like, that was amazing.
Yeah.
She just didn't think about it.
Because it was unexpected for her.
Some people just research it. They read a bunch of crap about it.
Over research.
Researching it. And, Joe Rogan's a huge component about it. But, like, Joe Rogan says it's going to be psychedelic. I'm like, well, he's done it like 1,000 times.
Yeah. Like, he has one in his own house.
Yeah, like, you can't expect to reach certain levels if you sit and meditate for the first time. Most likely you're not going to get to where, like Dalai Lama gets. You're not going to get there the first time you sit.
Right.
You just got to keep doing it. But I think the biggest thing is meditation and floating. It's just learning to not be detached as shit. It's just, you got to let go of everything, I think. Yeah. Because it's not going to be there eventually.
True.
And being present helps you let go of things. And I think that's what the take helps you do is let you focus on what's in front of you and letting go what's behind you.
When you see what's really important, like, you don't get out of the tank and be like, man, I really got to get those new shoes, or you're just like, you don't give a shit about any of that stuff. You're just like, you're feeling your body, like, you feel your muscles attached to your tendons, and you're feeling your body in a different way. You're smelling smells. And one of my favorite things after floating is eating. Like, I'm a huge foodie, but I can eat. But when I'm after floating, like, I eat very slowly. I taste every ingredient. I can be like, this has cumin and garlic salt. Like, I can, like, break it down because I'm experiencing it completely differently. Even if I don't have a great flow and I can't get out of my head, I still come out feeling very rested. Like, my brain's not so busy. I'll get out of the tank and it'll slow down. It might not slow down in the tank, but when I exit the tank, it's almost like, and it turns off.
You just get that headspace. I think. I like to call it like a toilet for the brain. So
you dump out.
You dump it all out. Yeah, because we don't get time to, get all that crap out. Because all the stuff in our head doesn't need to be there. There's so much information that we're processing throughout the day. Yeah. We hear stuff at work. We're looking at our phones, social media, and then we're watching news, politics, whatever. And then it's just like, what do you think?
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Are you thinking what you think? Or are you just thinking what
Everyone else
you
thinks?
read
Yeah.
and what
it's
other
just
people
like,
are telling you.
When do you connect with yourself?
Yeah.
It's hard though. I mean, and people are afraid to be with themselves, and
Yeah.
I get it. It can be scary, but it's not.
That leads me to a really curious question I always have too. It's like, if someone, like, this is, I feel like a normal question when someone initially meets someone, it's like, who are you? Or like, what do you do? How do you guys respond to that? Like, specifically, you guys. Like, or whoever, one of you go first.
She's ready.
Who are you? I mean, outside of the standard, what do you do for a living? How do you make money?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just.
Oh, want me to answer?
Yeah, you answer. That
I'm
is
a
a difficult
work in
question.
progress.
Yeah.
That's what I am.
You're a work in progress?
Yeah, I'm a work in progress.
Okay.
So I'm just, today I might be this, tomorrow I might be that.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to, I just want to be better every day.
Yeah.
That's all I
You
strive
took
to
the words
be.
out of my mouth.
I just
Or are you just saying that because he said it now?
No, because we had a conversation where I said, I'm trying to be better, get better a little bit each and every day.
It's like I've heard it from, I don't know if it was a fighter or something. It's just 1% better every day.
Okay.
That's all I want to be. I just want to be 1% better, And a lot of times, I don't know. For me, I could be very critical of myself, and I think I've done something really bad, and then realize, like, no one else cared about what you did. I just gotta let go of things and just try to just be better. I don't want to be a shitty person. Just be nice to people and just make a small footprint to help hippie stuff. That's what I don't know.
I think it always falls down to morals whenever I ask that question. Like, if you actually break it down to like the very simplest components, it's just like, I'm here and I don't want to be a bad person.
Yeah.
Like, I want to do good by me and usually by family.
That's exactly. It's very simple, right? In your head, but then, like, I don't know.
Then you start overthinking about the stuff you have, the place you live, or that kind of stuff. Like,
or you compare yourself to stuff that you don't have and the friends that have more shit than you do.
Right.
You can't pay for this. You
it's
can't
so
do
easy
that.
to get caught up in that.
It's just,
and it's a whirlwind, and it sucks, and it's exhausting.
Yeah.
It's exhausting to constantly compare yourself and like, well, why don't I have this yet? Or I don't have enough money to get that car. But it's like, but nobody else, do you care?
Right.
No, not really. Does anyone else care? No. So we're all like stressing about getting stuff to impress people that don't care in the first place. And once you let that go and you realize that you can be happier with so much less.
Yeah.
And it's such a relief.
I completely agree.
We both have had 3-bedroom homes with the back, like the whole shebang, like the huge house, the front yard, the backyard, the 3-car garage. And when I packed all of that stuff up and I was just like, and then we moved here to this tiny little 1-bedroom, 400 square foot bungalow. I'm like, we don't need any of this shit. Like,
right.
And it just all, like, I would say 98% of our stuff, it was just gone. Like, I don't care. I don't need, why was I hanging on to this for 10 years?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. And then you just keep the things that really do make you happy, and that's it.
Right.
And it's not very much.
And then it kind of just speaks volumes too.
Yeah.
Yeah. It does.
Like, I can like look at your wall right here, like music, and like I want to say that's more philosophy type of thing.
A little bit. Yeah.
Crafting supplies, business stuff,
business.
stuff for business, records.
Productivity.
Paraphernalia.
Say that.
Yeah.
Paraphernalia. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, we're
Things
just
to key you into those.
Yeah, we're
And
just
cookbooks.
Cookbooks.
yeah, a lot of
That's it.
cookbooks. Yeah.
Lots of cookbooks.
Yeah, all I need is just music and a little bit of art. And
We got library cards, so we check out any book we ever want to read. They send it to our library. We pick it up. Has our name on it. That's it.
There you go.
So we got books. We got music. We have our business. We live exactly where we want to live.
Yeah. Living a good life.
That's
all you want to do. Is live the good
I'm
life.
fulfilled. I'm pretty fulfilled.
Yeah, I think that's another thing when I got out the tank the first time, or the first time was with you guys. I came out and I started making conversation with you guys, and I just felt, I don't know, I just felt it. you guys were good people, and then in a way that you guys felt happy, like legitimately happy with your lives. And then and usually it's hard for me to find this conversation normally, but then the further I start asking questions, the more people that I find, and I find that so like pleasuring and fulfilling for me, like to try to create this environment or network where people are just like-minded, and I want to just like throw it out there to the world that there are other people like this.
There's a lot of people out there, right?
There's a lot.
Yeah,
I
People
think
are good.
Yeah,
Apparently,
people are actually good.
People and that's the bummer part before traveling. It's just like, you're crazy. Like, it's so dangerous out there. I'm like, why do you think it's because the news and this? And my dad was furious. Like, when I was like, nope, we're buying a one-way ticket to Thailand. He's like, what? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, you're crazy. You know what's going on over there? I'm like, it's fine. Like, and the longer we traveled, the more we realized people are good. A majority of people are good. There's not everyone, but most people we came across are good-natured, like-minded people that just were traveling and looking to experience cultures and people and things and just participate. And that's it. And it gives you a different perspective on life and meeting people and to not judge or have preconceived notions of anything. And if you're open to meeting people, then you will meet the best fucking people when you're open to it.
That's completely true. That said everything out of my head, out of my mind. Another question I guess that relates to is, do you believe that you're the sum of the 5 close people that are 5 close people to you, kind of thing?
The sum of them,
or you're the average?
Yeah, that's a good one. Very similar to them, but different.
Yeah,
the average of them.
Like the importance of those 5 close people to you means to me almost like the world, because those are the people that are going to influence you to do better, to push you forward, to make you better because you want to do better, and at the same time are your support system to help you when you're down. Yeah.
I think I want to be that person.
What do you mean?
I want to be like you take different views from different people, right? And you put your own spin on it.
Okay, yeah.
I feel like one day I want to work to be that person, but I'm not. I'm close to there.
Oh, okay. So
I'm not there yet.
What do you think you're doing now?
I'm doing what I want to do, but there's still I need to grow. Still,
you still like some hard-headedness in you. Is that what I'm saying?
Yeah, hard-headedness. Me, my ego plays a lot of things. I get. I still have. Sometimes I get short-tempered a little bit, like that. But things I need to let go of still. But I'm aware of it, and it's still hard. I'm not to where I want to be, but. Maybe I never will be, but
could you name like the 5 close people to you?
5 close people to me? Yeah. Well, I don't even know, man. My dad was a huge influence on me. Okay. My dad harbored, but my dad was just because he worked hard. Okay. He didn't complain. He just worked hard his whole life, and but that's what his father. He was super important to me though, because I didn't realize it until my dad died pretty young. He was 53. And I didn't realize how hard he worked, and he just it's just that old school mentality where you just bite down on your mouthpiece and you commute. My dad would commute 2 hours away from work and just work 11 hours a day, never bitch, come home and work and just keep working and just grinded. Yeah. And everybody did what he had to do to provide for his family, and I think what's happening now, like we get a little bit spoiled and
technology kind of makes things easier, but then at the same time, you still have to learn how to do it the hard way.
Exactly, and sometimes I feel like some days I need to just bite down and just go forward, right, and not complain and I feel like that's probably the one part I'm lacking sometimes. Is just some days I maybe complain a little bit too much. Okay, and I just need to just stop complaining and just do the work and come home and be happy. Yeah, and that's the part I need to improve on more. Or sometimes I get jaded or I get in my head a little bit.
I see.
But there's always room for growth, I guess, for me.
But. Okay, but then falling back to the question, I want to see if you can answer that.
Oh, shit.
5. Yeah, only said your father.
Oh, 5 other people? Damn, I don't even know.
It's just the thing about who are really your closest 5.
The closest 5? I look at the musicians a lot, artists. I don't even know if the certain individuals, but I take aspects from
you could
certain
definitely.
People.
People who you kind of like look up to, like on a
I
like
look
a
up
daily
to,
basis.
even though I was in the military, I look up a lot of military people. I like the discipline aspect. I'm really into like I like people who are super disciplined, and then like the conscious level, like Terrence McKenna. I like him a lot.
Okay, I'm not familiar, but
He's a
I'll look into
psychedelic dude. I like. I don't know. I can't even name 5 people. I can't even do it.
Okay,
Maybe
that's
it's
fine.
more than 5.
But I think it falls into the simplicity act.
Yeah.
But it's simply a thought that if you can name those 5, then you kind of have like a basis. Like I could say, maybe 2 months ago, I thought it was Larry King, Tim Ferriss, Jocko Willink.
Yeah, I'd like
and,
Jocko. Yeah.
My friend Robbie, and I have another friend. Damn, I lost that 5th one.
See.
No, actually, I don't know who it was. It was the poker player.
Oh, okay.
The Bazarian.
Okay.
Because I really thought he was misunderstood. Because I think he knows what he wants, but he's doing it in an unethical way. But then I could say like now it's more of like Aubrey Marcus, Joe Rogan, so Tim Ferriss, and
I like all those guys.
yeah. So like in the past couple of months, I was really focused on those previous 5s, and then now I'm more focused on learning about these things, because prior to me learning about myself or learning about those people, I learned more about myself, how I really want to learn about communication and learning about like psychedelics, metaphysics, and philosophy. I also got into like Ray Dalio in terms of investment, into my financial management. And it's like I'm always on that same like learning process, but at the same time I'm also adjusting myself to where I want to grow or be.
Yeah. I totally agree. I like Ryan Holiday.
Right. Oh yeah, Ryan Holiday. That's who he is. Okay.
Yeah, I like.
That's another one of mine.
His books, and Echo Tarley. I like him a lot.
Okay.
Power of Now.
I've got to look into that.
Yeah, it's I like it. It was hard to get past some of the things he said because, like, part of me, like the hippie type of like, and the like, you know, the meditation yoga hippie part. I still have resistance to it, but I like the philosophy of it, and there's some stuff he says that just hits home, and like it resonates with me really well.
I've got to check it out.
Yeah, it's. I do the audiobooks of him, and for me, because my yogi buddy got me into him, and it was hard to get past his voice. Because his voice is just, his voice is fine now, but like part of me was just like, oh man, he sounds so hippie and all this, and I'm like, okay, but then I started listening, I'm like, oh yeah, he's right. Okay, I could apply this.
What about you, Nikki? Could you name your 5? Or
I mean,
do you believe in it?
I'm incredibly close with Derrick.
Okay.
We live together, but have business together, and we're pretty much ingrained with everything. But I feel like he gives me a lot of balance with my neuroticness and like anxiety, which I definitely know that I have, and it's something that I'm always trying to work on. But just trying to get out of my head. But he also, I mean, you introduced me to this whole new world. Like I was on a very different path before we met. Like I was living a very different life, and then when we met, I just was like, I need a clean slate, like new friends, new everything. Like I quit my jobs. Like I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm going to travel and do this, and it opened me up to being more mindful, being more present, and you're always helping like steer me back when he sees me like going off the rails of like, this isn't working, or I have this, and he's just like, it always works out. It always unfolds how it should be. You know, sometimes really bad things
because when you're
happen.
doing it, I'm doing it too. So it's like I'm checking myself. So I say stuff to her that I'm kind of saying to myself too. And I'm like, oh yeah, you're not just being present. I'm like, I wasn't either. So it's good.
But I pull a lot of that energy, and it helps like bring me back. I'm like, you're right, and you know, and I tell you like, you know, go to the gym, you feel better. And that one day I came home on Tuesday and I was really upset, and he was like, nope, put on your clothes, let's go to the gym. You're going right now. Like just here, do some squats. You'll be, and you know, and he was 100% right.
Yeah.
I was really worked up, and then I rode, I did some squats, and I was like, this is the best thing to happen. And it just completely just helped change my perspective. And, it gives me that little push to just change the way that I think about something.
What I thought was so powerful, what you just said, was that as soon as you met Derrick, and then you guys start like getting closer together, you said you had to change your entire group of friends and the people you hung out with. And that's what I kind of, I'm not saying like 5 is the actual number. Like 5 is an arbitrary number, but just like the people who you hang out with.
Oh yeah,
that's a major factor in who you are and where you want to be, in my perspective.
And
I'm not going to speak for people.
I agree.
It should be.
And I think the most like the tying thing for my whole story, I was on a path that was very different to where I am now, but the spark that changed it all. I told my best friend Natalia, I was like, all right, hey, here's the thing. I'm ready to smoke weed. I never smoked weed before. I was about to be 26, and I went it was just never appealed to me. I just didn't care. It just wasn't for me. I was too involved with sports. I drank. I didn't want to go there.
Yeah.
And then I smoked weed for the first time at Bobby's house, so his best friend.
Okay.
And he wasn't living there yet, but he was going to be moving in soon. I had no idea. And I smoked weed, and within the first 15 minutes, I knew that I had been lying to myself.
It got you out of your head.
Years. No, and it was so obvious. I mean, but being 26, smoking weed for the first time, and just having this like fucking epiphany. And I'm like looking around, I'm like, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing with my life? I'm in this relationship. I'm like, I need to get the fuck out. Like, I am not happy. Like, and it was like immediate where I was like, I'm not happy.
Yeah.
I'm no longer in love with this man, and I haven't been for a very long time, but I'm going with the motions and being stoned, and I just started laughing, you know, just having those giggles, and I'm like, God, I'm so unhappy. Like, this is what I need to be doing. I need to be hanging out with people that are my age, that are just trying to have a good time. I need to, like, I was a stepmom. Like, I was just in this role that I'm like, I am not ready for this. Like, I don't want this anymore. And within, this was in April, less than 4 weeks later, I snapped. Like, I couldn't hold it in anymore, and I left. Yeah. Like, I left the relationship, and when I left that relationship, I was like, fuck all of my friends. Like, you guys are toxic. You suck. Like, I don't want any, like, I just want to start over. So I moved out of my house. I moved back in with my dad. And then my girl, and then I just started smoking weed. And no, but it was the best thing to ever happen to me. And I even told my dad, I was like, I know you're glad that I left this dude, but do you know what it took me to finally leave? It was me getting stoned. Yeah. And then I just met a whole bunch of new friends, and it was all of his friends. And then they got I got a new roommate, and this is Derrick. And it's like, oh, hey. And then that was it. And quit my jobs. We bought a one-way ticket to Thailand. 2 weeks after dating, we decided that we were together. We bought those tickets, broke up with my friends, and then we moved back. And with less than a week of being back in the United States, we were down in San Diego because I'd never lived out of the IE before. And I was like, I do not want to go back. Like, I do not want to live here. And he's like, me either. And then here, OB, like, it just, my whole path changed. And I attribute it to the first joint and Bobby's house.
Yeah, whatever works, right?
Another thing that spoke out to me on what you just said was you found humor in your darkest moments, and I really find that, like, those are just like defining moments in people's lives, and people are afraid of that.
No, you gotta embrace it, because being fearful of the unknown, and I still am afraid of the unknown, right. But I'm checked, and from the people that influenced me, going back to your question of the 5 influential people, it's Derrick, it's my best friend Natalia, whom is my oldest friend, who you've known her longer than I have, and we met in college, but they've known each other since high school, and her husband, Derrick, who you met yesterday, And he's also a really influential person in my life because we're very, very similar in terms of the way that we think, analytics, and all of that, the way that our brains work.
Yeah.
So my girlfriend married the male version of me, and I married the male version of her because him and Natalia are the same. Like you guys act the same. The way that you guys, just your philosophies and everything. And
she's a little bit darker than me.
She's super dark. She can get really dark. But you love her for it. She just is like, you can't take shit too seriously in this world. She's like, you gotta laugh it off. For sure. And that's what I really love and appreciate about her. But her husband said something to me. I was really afraid of leaving a job, and I was just like, I don't know if this is I'm making a huge mistake. And he's just like, being afraid of the unknown. He's like, the best thing can happen after you close this door.
Yeah.
Like, you have no idea what opportunity is going to wait after this. And I'm like, you are so freaking right. Yeah. And I might be told that in different ways, but you need to hear it that one time from that one, and it just clicks.
Right.
And that helped set me off on another path. Like, all right, let's start your own business. And instead of working for these douchebags over here, why don't you just do that for yourself? Do SEO freelance for companies, because you're miserable going to this company. But I thought, well, it's insurance and it's the future.
Yeah.
But it was making me so unhappy. But I'm in it, and I don't realize how unhappy I am. I'm like, I just suck it up. You're an adult. Like, I don't know. It's just how it is. And he's like, no, it's not. It's not how it has to be. Yeah, you have a choice. You don't have to go there anymore. And it just took, one other person to be like, you have no idea that opportunity that's waiting for you outside of this. You have to be open to it.
Okay.
And
I got three now. It was probably, like you said, Derrick's official, and my buddy Gabe. He's because he was always he was an entrepreneur when I was like in 11th grade.
Okay.
He was a tattoo artist, and he always had his own business.
Yeah.
And he always, even though he was fucked up like us, he always had his own thing going for him. Gotcha. But he always kept it, and I don't know. When I was ready to start a business, he was the one. He came up with our logo. He was just here today. And
he pushed you to do it.
He pushed you to do it. He was always telling me to do something.
Yeah.
Even when I was fucked up, he's like, you gotta do this, Derrick. You gotta do this. And when I first time floated, he was the one who's like, Derrick, start a float business. Yeah. And he's probably one of the big influencers. Even though I don't talk to him as much and we're not as close as we were, but he's always pushed me to do things I didn't want to do, but I knew I needed to do.
Okay.
That's what I respect about him.
I feel like I can go so much deeper into this.
Yeah.
But I have a flight to get into.
Yeah. We got to come do this shit again.
Yeah, for sure. I'll let you know next time I come
in San Diego.
Yeah.
We're always here. You know where we live.
I have your number. Definitely, if you're in Ocean Beach in San Diego, Reset Float Therapy.
Reset Mind Body Float Therapy.
Yeah, Reset Mind Body Float. There, okay. Let them know when I can find.
Yeah, or even if you're just in your area, you don't even go to Ocean Beach. Just try floating and try it more than once, please.
Definitely got to give it more than that first time. The first float is always the most difficult. So if you don't have the experience you're looking for, you just have to keep at it. You're not going to get it the first time. You might not get it the second time, but that third time, that fourth time. But once you finally get to that sweet spot, you know what it's about. Like, you don't need to be sold on it anymore. Once you feel it, you feel it. And that's it. And it literally can change your life. Derrick's first float, it completely changed your life.
Sure.
And here we are today. It's nuts. Yeah. It changed my life. That first flow, he's like, I want to start a business. I'm like, you should absolutely do this. You're crazy if you don't.
But don't take our word for it. We're biased.
Yeah. just a little bit.
Yeah. Righteous.
Okay. Well. Well, if you want to support the podcast, you can buy some merch at sumoliftsapparel.com. And I'm also on Patreon /The Ketchup. I forgot that for a second. And normally you see me on the screen and I say until next time, and you get to see my guests, and I might take a picture with them to say goodbye. Goodbye.
That was awesome.